I'm a podcast, motivational speaker, stuff like that, right? Life coach, if you want to call me that. But we got some new and exciting things in the works here. I got some notes, which is very rare for me to do. So let's pull up my notes. Keep notes here on my phone. So we are working on a few mini courses for life changers. One of them is going to be called Personal Growth, Knowing Who You Are. Another one is Finding True Love in Relationships. Ooh, mini course. It's just, going to be, it's good stuff. You'll see. And another one is called Personal Finance Course. And that's all I got so far, I think. Yeah, we got 3 in the works that we're working on right now. Just to give you a little insight on it, I guess, the relationship one. One is understanding yourself and your needs in love. The objective will be to help people gain clarity on what they desire in a partnership or relationship. And exploring personal values and relationship needs and so on and so forth. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, these courses will probably be about 45 minutes to an hour long. And once we have them launched, I will let you guys know. And the other one for personal growth, knowing who you are, which is the most important one, which I think I'm going to talk a little bit about today, about getting to know who you are. Because a lot of people, I know we've done this before, like who am I, right? That one episode called Who Am I? But now we're going to go more in depth because, I know who I am. Do you know who you are? But so this one for the mini course there called Personal Growth and Who You Are, the objective is to help people identify how past experiences, environments, and beliefs have shaped their identity and actions today. And we get into like a lot of uncovering your programming for that you've been programmed, because a lot of people don't understand when I talk about that. I get a lot of questions about that. Like, what do you mean? What I'm programmed? But if you think about it, and your upbringing is your programming. And as you get older, whatever we're watching on TV and whatever, even when you're younger, your friends and people you surround yourself with is all programming, right? They say, if you want to become, if you don't want to be an alcoholic, well, don't hang out in a bar. Because if you hang out in a bar with a bunch of alcoholics, eventually you become an alcoholic, as they say, right? Stuff like that. So if you want to be rich, hang out with rich people. If you want to be successful, hang out with successful people. If you want to feel loved or be loved, well, hang out with people that are loving and caring, and so on and so forth. But we're going to go all over the place today, as we always do. Because that's what I do. But and all the other mini course here, the personal finance one, is the power of the mindset, which a lot of people So, let's just get into it because it's crazy to me. We get a lot of questions, and lately a lot of people's questions we've been talking about is self-healing and, miracles or whatever else you want to call it, right? And when I tell people that, yes, in reality of things, it's not that we choose to be sick, but we do choose to be sick in the end. Like Dr. Joe Dispenza says it, Michael A. Singer, a bunch of other people will say it, I'm sure you all heard of all these people, there's something Hicks would say the same thing. Jane Roberts, she has a bunch of books out, similar stuff. So, it's law of attraction is everywhere, if you believe it or not. It's already happening all around you and around us and around everybody. So a lot of conversations I have with people is like, so you're telling me I choose to be sick, but I don't want to be sick, and I talk to people, Christians, non-Christians, about the same subject. And it was funny because it seems like a lot of the comments, emails, and then personal conversations I'm having with people are similar. So I'm like, maybe I need to talk about this in the podcast today. So that's what we probably will start talking about and see where it ends up. But yes, subconsciously, Like, we all choose when we get sick or whatever. It's your belief system. I know it's crazy. Oh, you're saying I choose to. But because we believe, right, that if I see somebody coughing and sneezing and like, oh, I'm sick. If they said, oh, it's just allergies, then I'll be like, oh, yeah, it's just allergies. It's cool. I don't have allergies. So I'm good. I'm not going to be, get this. But then if they're like, oh, I'm really sick, today and all that, and then we're all like, oh, no, or if you see somebody sneezing and coughing, you're like, oh, they're sick. I'm going to get sick now that I've been near them, so I'm going to start pumping vitamin C and all that. But then, one or two things is going to happen. You're going to be like, well, I pumped all this vitamin C, I'm healthy, I'm strong, and you overcome it and you don't get sick. Or you're like, oh no, I always get sick. Chances are I'm going to be sick. I always get it when somebody else gets it. I'm always sick, right? Well, yeah, then that's the reality you're creating. So therefore you'll be getting sick, right? But if you actually study like flus and all that stuff, or sicknesses in general, like, the incubation time is when it's really, like, it depends on the flu and cold and all that. I understand, maybe doctors are going to start yelling at me, but from what I understand, and I studied health and safety in the restaurant industry and stuff like that, because you have to learn all this stuff. When somebody's actually showing all the symptoms, like they're a fever, they're really sick, they're less likely to pass it to you unless they're like coughing and sneezing on you and like you're licking their germs, right? But you're more likely to get it from them before they were sick. So, because that's how it works. Like, if I'm showing that I'm sick, then I'm not really that contagious anymore unless, it's obvious if you start licking all my germs. But beforehand, when I wasn't showing any symptoms, the incubation time is like, 1 to 2 weeks. I was probably a lot more contagious then. So, haha. But I defeat the purpose because, like, I'm not a doctor and all that. This is just what I understand. People can tell me otherwise. That's cool. But in the end, it all comes down to your belief system. So, yes, a lot of people know I was in religion growing up, and that, I'm no longer active in my religion growing up. But I've also studied world religion. I know a lot of people in different religions, and I know a lot of our listeners are currently in religions and all that. I'm not trashing religions or anything. I'm okay with everybody's belief systems. Everybody's where they need to be, and that's how I see the world. Is everybody's learning, everybody's doing what they know is best for them and their personal reality. I'm not here to tell people otherwise or anything like that, but I'm just talking about my experiences and stuff like that. So let's continue. So yes, growing up in religion, I'm always taught like, I guess in my religion, this is my experience, is like, our religions, we have the full truth, we have the gospel, so on and so forth. The other religions do have truth, but like we got the full truth type thing, like I'm better than you type thing, I guess is how I was grown up. I grew up in my religion. And I used to think like miracles being performed in every religion. I was like, well, if we're like the true religion, then how come I have all these miracles? Well, no, fast forward to now, knowing what I know now is yes. Miracles can be performed anywhere, anytime, as long as it comes down to your belief, or in religion terms, faith in whatever's happening is happening. So, I've seen there's, in Catholic religions, growing up in Montreal, Quebec, there's a really popular church over there, cathedral, and people walk up there that were blind, or people walked up there with, like, in wheelchairs, couldn't walk and stuff, and then they are able to walk and stuff. And I went up there to see, like, this room and see everything, and, it's pretty cool, and it's really, like, spiritual experience, because everybody goes there with this amazing energy of healing. So it's their belief that they make it to visit this area, that they will be healed of their affliction, and they have no doubt in their mind. So therefore, they get up there, they, have their experience, say their prayers, and they're healed. And, people say, well, God healed them. Cool. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But like in the law of attraction of the world is you had faith that God will heal you, and it's always according to your faith, right? Like if you don't have enough faith, then you're not going to be healed. So if ever you got yourself like a healing ceremony or blessing or whatever, depends on the religion you grew up in, that, and then you didn't end up getting healed, well, then it's because you didn't have enough faith or belief that you would. So I've been in situations where I've performed healings. I've seen people healed, my religion, other religions, and people in no religions. And I used to think like, wow, this is weird. Like, why would God heal all these people, right? But it's all comes down to, for me, in my personal reality, but everybody has their own reality, is faith or belief in the universal law of healing, or call it God. I don't, that's cool. Like, I'm not against it. If it works, it works. Like, I don't care what you call it. But if you're able to say a prayer or have a healing ceremony or get a blessing or something like that to be healed, and it works, amazing. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what you call it. But, for my personal reality, yeah, like, I remember having a conversation the other day with a gentleman, and who was like, look, he's a native, so he prays to, like, the Great Spirit God, and he goes, and he was explaining to me, like, no, I don't believe in, that's the only thing, like, he goes, I listen to you, we talk, he goes, I believe a lot of what you're saying, how you can manifest your, love, you can manifest wealth, you can manifest hate, or you can manifest, like, whatever reality you want to create, but I don't believe you could heal yourself. Because he's like, the other week or so, I was sick, and I would, like, pray and smudge and to, like, my God and all that. And I said, okay, well, walk me through how you do it, And he's like, well, I pray and say, give me strength to overcome the sickness and all this. And then he goes, and then, when I make the decision, like, I'm going to be healed, I heal myself. I said, that's the key thing. He goes, what do you mean? I said, look, you pray for strength. A lot of people pray for strength to, God or Mother Earth or whatever is in their reality. People will, like, hey, I need strength. Please give me the strength to overcome this. So right there is, like, you creating your belief, I guess. But then the key word is you choose. He goes, yeah, like, I choose one. Then if I choose not to be sick anymore, like, then I would be healed. I said, yeah, but you chose. And he's like, I see what you're saying. I said, yeah, like, it doesn't matter what you call it. And I explained to him, certain things that I've seen and witnessed of somebody who's really sick, and there's other people in the house, and, like, teenagers and kids, and they're all screaming and yelling. And then when we started performing the healing ceremony or the blessings and stuff like that, and prayer, when I was in the church, because all know I was a minister for 4 years in that religion as well. But anyways, and the lady was like, I have faith that God will heal me. And then we started the thing, and we said, according to your faith, you'll be healed. And you could just feel, like, the energy shift in the whole house, as if, like, something, like, the energy just flew from upstairs, and, like, whew, everybody quieted down as soon as we started. And then whew, and, like, the moment she's like, I chose, like, I know I'm going to be healed, I choose to be healed, I choose to let the healing spirit into my heart, she said, it happened. Like, she was healed. But it all comes down to you choosing. So you can say, well, I chose to be healed through the healing spirit, or I chose God to heal me through faith. That's amazing. Other people can heal themselves through meditation, through their faith in the universe or the universal law, or their body is amazing enough that it can heal itself. So that they just look into their body and say, like, let's be healed. What do you need? And sometimes it's physical. Sometimes people are like, they meditate into their body and all that. And they're like, well, what do I need to heal myself? And then they have their enlightenment, and then so that's physical for them. I've seen people just sit there and go, no, I see that I'm sick. I allowed this to happen, but I choose not to be. I release I'm not being sick no more. And they just, wheel it away. It's crazy. But, like, Dr. Joe Dispenza, like, his life story that got him into all this a lot was, in the end, he ended up, I think, getting hit by a car or something, or he hurt his back where he would have been paralyzed for the rest of his life. And he was a doctor as well. And he visualized and meditated a lot of his body being healed and like workers or something in his body, something along these lines. Like I might be getting it wrong, but like for him it worked, visualizing his body being healed and being put back together again. And it works. Like you heard me mention a book, like a lady called Jane Roberts. She has a bunch of books. And in one of her books, she mentions how her and her husband would visualize, like he would visualize himself like as if he was a small little, microscopic dude, and he would like he would say like what hurts, like she would be like my knee hurts for son. He'll go in there and be able to visualize everything and like heal her knee, and it doesn't hurt no more. So it all comes down to your belief system. So if you believe going to a significant church building will heal you and you have 100% faith, it will. If you believe going to a different church, or listen to the law of attraction, or you believe like, yes, I have the power and ability to heal myself, then you will. And I was also talking, like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was also talking to another individual about a few months ago, and she's like, okay, I understand what you're saying about law of attraction and all that, and it all comes back down to this, well, I know people that are like the most amazing people in the world. Like they're church go-getters. They're like elites in their church type thing. Like they have 100% faith. They're the nicest people. Like they believe God and like they've been blessed, and stuff like that. And you're telling me that they choose to be sick and that they could heal themselves, but they choose not to. Like they even pray and had people do prayer circles for them to heal them, and it didn't work. And I just sat there thinking like, well, what would be the issue for them not to be healed? Because if you truly have faith, it doesn't matter in what and how you're going to be healed, you can do it. If you could perform miracles. Sorry. Acid reflux. I got to drink some water. But sorry about that. And I was just like, what would be the answer for that? And at first I was like, I'm not sure if I have an answer. But then I said, this is what I feel. I said, it might not be the right answer and might be the right answer, but I feel they could be the most amazing, selfless people in the world. Keyword is selfless. So I feel that in their hearts, somewhere in their programming, they believe, yeah, you could heal me, God, but why waste this healing on me when I could overcome the sickness? I'm strong enough, and you can heal somebody else that needs it more than me, because that's selfless people. Selfless people would be like, no, save them first, not me, come for me next type thing. And if that's their programming they're running, would be the answer, I would assume, right? And it makes sense to me, might not. And then she was like, yeah, that makes sense. She's like, I could see that because they are that type of people where, help them first, come for me next type thing. And it's rare to find people like that. But there's more selfless people in the world than the world wants you to believe. They try to make you believe it's all the programming they're running right now is all doom and gloom and all this bullshit. But it's really not. There's a lot of love out there in the world. There's a lot of stuff. So, my wife and I, as you know, we both grew up in the same religion. And when we left, we felt like, our whole world was turned upside down in a sense. Like our whole belief system and our whole, friends and all that, like, now we're not a part of that world. Like, yeah, we go visit them, sometimes hang out with them, but it's not the same, because they're like, I understand, right? I was there, been there, done that, where I'm like, yeah, I feel bad for you, you'll come back, and I'm here if you need me, like, I understand. Like, I used to be that person too. But, even when I used to be in the religion, and when I was even the minister for 4 years, that I still I always felt like I always had a feeling energy, of, we could talk to this person, convince them to get baptized into our religion and this religion and all that, but I feel like it's not their time yet, or it's not the right place for them. And people are like, oh, who are you? Because they would, in my religion, they'll say no, you baptize them and let God sort them out. At least they got, they're here. But I was always feeling my energy, my things let's just be good friends with these people and let them make their decision. Not let them make their decision in the sense of we're going to force them or coerce them, but they'll do it to make us happy, but they're not, truly into it. Just if somebody comes up to me and goes, Mike, teach me everything about life changers, and I feel like they're not really dedicated to, I guess, learning or truly go into it. I have friends that, hang out with me. I have especially this one friend that we had on the show once, and we talked with him, come with me for all my experiments and seeing me do all these things. And, he's like, yeah, you're just lucky. Has nothing to do with, energy or anything like that type thing. And so it's crazy to me, because even growing up, I used to be like, oh man, if I was showing miracles, if I was showing things, I would believe. And sometimes people are like, nah, you'll be surprised, And it's true. I show people how the law of attraction works and how it's all about energy and belief system and all that, and how I could create exactly what I want. And they're like, that's crazy. And they were there for that. They've witnessed the miracles or the amazing things I've done, in a sense, for myself, and by my beliefs, by shifting my beliefs, by shifting my, stuff like that, and trusting and so on. And people are like, nah, you're just lucky. Nah, you're lucky. I'm not lucky. I'm not, the smartest guy in the room, but I do feel energy, and I do understand the energy of business, of money, of love, of all sorts of things. And yes, I'm not perfect. I have my issues, like we talked about in one of my episodes, of me being an active mind or overthinking and stuff like that. And that's issues I'm working on in my life. And part of the reality of I don't want my reality of being a negative thinker or an overthinker and stuff like that. It helps me in certain situations, but I want to understand and program myself, in a sense, for where it's been a factor to me instead of a hindrance to me. But yeah, so it's all about getting to know who you are and your belief systems now. We talked about in another episode, but I feel like we're going to talk about it again in this episode, because I think I can get more into depth, a lot more of my crazy out, as people say. But yeah, who are you? What is the programming you are running? What is your belief system? What makes you you? So if you want to do an exercise, if you're driving, you can come back and listen to it at this time. It's about 24 minutes, 24 and a bit, or probably 24 and a half minutes with the intros. But yeah, if you want to take a look, come back and do this, or remember to do this, but write down your beliefs, who you are, on a piece of paper, and be like, these are my beliefs. These are my, things. And say, these are the beliefs that I grew up with, because that's your programming. So you can say programming over here, right? So right on top, your beliefs, or who am I? Write down your beliefs on one side, and write another section for the beliefs that you were instilled growing up, or you feel like is your auto programming growing up, and then write on the far side of what you want to be running, and then look at all the different ones and see what you should focus on to create who you are. Because it's funny, because right now I have an image of who I am in my head. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, that's me. What the hell? That's not what I feel like I'm projecting into the world. But I guess that's what I look like to people. Or maybe that's the way I see myself. Whatever. Like, right? Hey, Mike, that's your personal reality. Remember this, right? So when you see yourself and you're like, that's just what you're projecting because that's what you believe you look like. Touche. So for you guys who write those comments, touche. Because yes, you are correct. But you got to understand, what you believe really does make you you. So, me, for my instance, we talked about this before, growing up, I grew up in a, not less fortunate family. Oh, we're so less fortunate, like poor me. But we were poor. And no matter how hard my dad worked, he would always say, no matter how hard I work, we stay poor. The rich get rich, the poor just stay poor. And that's the way it is. We just work to survive. And that was my programming. Program one, I guess. Then religion was another programming, right? So then I learned a lot in there because if you look, for me, when I look back at my religion days, or when I was in the religion, there was a lot. And there's a book out there, so if you really want to get down to the rabbit hole or craziness of it, there's a book by Jane Roberts called Seth Speaks. And it talks about how people in religion are more easy to understand the law of attraction because the law of attraction is being used in religion. Because if you think about it, for me growing up, if anything good happened, it's because, I trusted and followed God. If anything bad happened, well, I trusted and followed Satan, so it's my fault. But if something good happens, God blessed me. So that's the way I grew up, right? So my other programming was, if I'm bad, I'd be my fault. I followed the wrong person. If I'm good, well, God's blessing me and he's giving me abundance because I've been good. And that's my programming, right? And then, we have to follow all these other rules. Growing up, no swearing, no drinking, stuff like that. And all this other stuff, as most religions have. And that's the programming there, right? And then I see the programming from school, right? Growing up in the school world that Montreal, and so there's programming there, programming by my brothers and sisters. As you hear me say sometimes, a lot of times, my brother always tells me, "Hey, Mike, this is, you are, Mike from Life Changers, and whatever you happen, we heal fast because I used to, you get hurt a lot growing up. Like you go tobogganing, fall off, hit a pole, get cut up. I don't know, learn to skateboard, fall, hit rocks, get cut up. And he would always tell me, don't worry, you're Mike. And you heal fast because, you're part of this family and we're just amazing this way. And that was a good programming, that was teaching me a lot of attraction without even realizing it. Stuff like that. So then when I started looking at that book, right, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I'll say it one more time. Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So it is literally forgetting all your programming and reprogram yourself. And that's what helped me eliminate poor in my life, or lack of finances in my life. And I started seeing how easy it is to make money. Everywhere I look, it's so easy. And I could, it's just amazing to me. And yes, I will be offering soon, besides the free, like the mini courses we're going to make, we're going to offer a more intense course. And we're going to offer one-on-ones with me for advice and stuff like that. And we'll figure out a program or something that where we can reach out, be on a call together, or FaceTime, or in person if you live within my area, or if you want to fly me out wherever you live, I'm more than happy to do that. Because yes, I know that I can help people with business, with anything they want or they have issues with. Because I always say, I had a buddy of mine hanging out with me the other day, and we were just talking, and I was just like, if you don't mind me asking, so I started asking him more about his business and stuff like that, his pay structure and everything. And I was like, no, this is what I believe you should do for this and all that. And he's just like, that makes sense. Like, okay, yeah. Like, and I understand. People are like, well, I don't want to seem too expensive. I don't want to seem whatever, right? But like, this pen in my hand right now, if I bought it at the Dollarama, Dollar Tree, or whatever dollar stores in your country, it'll be $1. I'm happy to pay $1 for this pen. If it was like $2, $3 in the same store, I'd be like, ooh, that's a little pricey, right? But then the same exact pen, you would see it at the corner store, convenience store, or in Quebec, Le Dépanneur. Oh, Le Dépanneur, ça fait du bien. Right? Or the grocery store or whatever, will be like $2, $3. And you'd be like, yeah, it's a premium, but I'm willing to pay it because it's convenience. If you're on a plane or you're on a boat or you're on a train, the same damn pen would cost you $5 and you'll be paying it. So know your worth. And that's one thing I struggle with too, is knowing my worth, right? There's people that do motivational speaking that charge $10,000 an hour. There's people that do it for $50 an hour. There's people that can do it for $100,000 an hour. Just for them to, just for you to talk to them is going to cost you $50,000, right? So on and so forth. Like the scale is so big, right? Life coaches, same thing, right? The sales scale is so big. So what is your worth? Because there's always people that will pay you your worth. You just got to believe in yourself and put it out there. So yeah, my pen might be $5. And if you're like, that's expensive, well, you're not my customer. I'm putting out these podcasts and everything for free. I put them out with my own money. I pay for everything I have in studio. I pay for, the hosting of all my podcasts. I pay to get it all put out there. I pay for all sorts of things. And I'm not saying like, oh, poor me. No, I choose to do this and make it free for the world because everybody needs to hear this. But yes, when I start offering one-on-ones, life coaching, or business advice, and so on and so forth, yes, I'm sorry, but if it's going to take more of my time where I can't run my businesses anymore, where, I have to hire people to do it, I need to make money too. So it's the way it is. But a lot of people ask me, like, what's my worth? What's my worth? But it's up to you to decide what's your worth. Like, even I'm toying and trying to figure out what my worth is. And I'm asking people that are in the industry, looking up different things, seeing what the average is and all that. Because, as you know, with my business, it's all about volume with my current businesses. So like I'm not the cheapest, I'm not the most expensive. I'm kind of like in the middle, right? And I go for volume for what we do with my shipping companies or my firework company, other companies that we do, transportation, stuff like that. It's all volume, and volume is what makes me my money. But if I'm going to be giving one-on-ones, it's not about pushing through volume. It's about quality. Well, I still give good quality service, but you know what I mean. It's about being able to work with people, and it takes a lot of energy. Like, I know it's weird to say, but like when I do these podcasts, I get drained of energy, but it's true. I'm putting out this energy out there over the waves of the internet or the sound waves of the radio or whatever you're listening to me on. But it does take a lot of energy, and everything is energy. So that is that, and that's what I'm working on. And it is hard because people say like, you must have it all figured out. But these are the reasons why I'm making this pod. These, or whatever. Man, just getting tongue twisters today. But that's part of the reason why I'm putting out these podcasts. Is it's not easy. A lot of law of attraction things and a lot of people out there make things sound so easy and make it look easy. Or there's all these people like, hey, buy my program, and then they don't actually give you information. So yes, my mini programs, when I put them out, are going to be $4.99 USD. And they're actually going to have good information and answers to questions and be like, wow. And there's gonna be like a mini sheet that you're gonna have to print out beforehand, and and it gives you tasks to do and stuff like that. Like, it's actually like not just like getting you all like excited, like, those ones that are like, hey, do you want me to teach you how to be a drop shipper? Like, I don't know if that's still popular, probably not, but well, I'm going to teach you here, buy this book for, whatever, like $50, $60, $10, whatever it is. So once again, like for my mini courses, I'm going for volume. I'm putting it out for less than $5. Well, about $5, hoping it hits the volume aspect of the people, and then I can help more people that way. And then I would be able to afford to create a more in-depth course that people can do on their own time and like really get into helping people to breaking the habit of being themselves and changing who they are and changing their systems. And really, because that's what helps people. It's not everybody can sit there going, okay, I'm going to meditate and change things. I'm going to think about things and change things. I'm going to do this and change things. It's a work. You need to build which I'm trying to build is the support system and all that. Like, it's hard because, just like people that spend a lot of time and money going to all these events for motivational stuff for finance, and they go to all these business things, and they go to all these events in their local cities, and they're spending, let's say, $10,000 a year, $5,000 a year doing all these events. It does help you because the energy of the group is that you're getting, if you're doing it this way, and if that's what you're getting out of it, is the energy, building contacts, building confidence in yourself, helping yourself with your business. That will help you. So yes, when people are like, oh, scammer or whatever, like I've been to all these events, they're all scams. Well, because you went there looking for the magic recipe. No one could give you the magic recipe for you. I could sit here and tell you exactly how to do what needs to be done for you to find out what you need to do, and you will not do it if you want the straight, just tell me how to do it. I used to be the same way. I'm not being critical. I love everybody. But I used to be the same way where I'm like, well, if this program is so good and kind of, if this guy claims like I got to give him $5,000 and he's going to teach me how to make, $20,000 a day, how come he just doesn't do it for free, right? Well, 2 reasons. Well, maybe there's more. We'll figure it out. But the first 2 main reasons is you do not appreciate something, you do not have skin in the game. Or if you don't have any monetized reason to be motivated to do any of these things. So yes, people charge you money for their programs. And if they're legit programs, they work. I have a buddy of mine who's telling me about a program by Tony Robbins and another guy that they put out, and it's, costs all this money, and there's little cheaper versions of it, and you could, buy the bigger one, so on and so forth. Yes, those will help you if you are motivated enough to go through the program and run with it and do everything that needs to be done in those programs, including the main thing that always pisses everybody off, and including me back in the day, would be, what, you're telling me I have to figure out like my own business strategy and all that? Just tell me what to do. I've talked to thousands and thousands of people. I've showed them how do I make money in casinos, or how I make money doing business, and how I could just make this happen. And I show step by step how you could make millions of dollars in sales and so on and so forth. And people just say, that's not for me. You always notice when you go to these events or you're hanging around people that are all like, yeah, you're motivated. Or if you're in religion and you go to church and you're having such a good spiritual moment, you're all like, yeah, I could like convert the world. Then as soon as you step back out in the real world, your programming kicks in. And you're like, oh, I'm in the real world now. It's harder and I'm being drained and all this negative energy is coming my way. And that's how it used to be for me. And I realize now that was me creating all that negative energy to come my way. I was attracting it because that's what I expected. I expected to be like, well, now that I'm in the real world, away from like all the good vibes of my church friends, I'm going to be bombarded by negative energy and negative people. But I will stand strong and reboot when I get, fill my battery again. And that was just the way I understood how it worked. And that's the way my programming was programmed, either by, my parents, my Sunday school teachers, or my minister, or whatever. Like, that's just the way I understood it all. Like, everybody's against me and everybody's against God. Nobody likes, if they're not a God loving people, then they don't like me. And that's the way I was programmed. And for me, that's the way it was. But, like, it doesn't have to be that way. And yes, I've shown, and you heard me talk about it many times, people on, like, how easy it is to, take money and make money. Like, here's an example. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm like, how easy it is to make money? You could start a business right now. I'm giving you free business idea right now. And I guarantee you there's going to be somebody that's going to do this. And bravo for that one person maybe out of the thousands that are listening. Or if there's more, bravo. Like, maybe I have better percentage of getting people to listen than I think. But, because, like, I've been to these big events where I spend all this money and I went to one called, like, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, called, like, the Wealth Management, whatever. It's a huge production. People from Shark Tank were there. Dragon's Den were there. Mark Cuban was there. I believe he was one of the Shark Tank guys. Sylvester Stallone was there. Pitbull was there to talk about, how he went from, rags to riches, and then he performed a little bit. And same with Sylvester Stallone. He talked about how making Rocky and how, he had to, trust in himself and push. And every single celebrity or every millionaire that was there or billionaire that was there on stage talking, when it was questions time, like fucking clockwork, people asked the same fucking questions. There's like 30 people only being able to ask questions, and 25 of them will ask the same fucking thing, which is, hey, I'm a screenwriter just like you, Sylvester Stallone, and people don't believe in me, and I want to do what you. So what can I do? Like, tell me step by step to do what you do. And I love Sylvester Stallone's answer, because I was just sitting there going, shut the fuck up with these stupid. And I'm sorry, I'm like cursing or cussing and swearing a lot, but like, I was just like, what the hell? And he says, look, it doesn't matter. I could tell you step by step. We can go over it and we could do it together and step by step. But you're not going to be successful like me, because that's my story. That's not your story. You have to figure out what works for you. You have to find your motivation. And yes, that was his answer pretty much. Like, just like, stop asking me. And the next person asked him the same question, and he'd be like, next. And I'm like, if only 30 people or 20 people can ask a fucking question, 95% of the people are going to ask the same damn question. And only one person's like, just saying, hey, I just appreciate your story, Sylvester. Thanks for being here. I love you. You motivate me, and I'm going to find my way. Because everybody is programmed to be so fucking lazy, where I was the same way, where I'm like, just tell me how to do it. Just show me to do it and I'll do it. But you never do it because you lack motivation, because it's not your story. Right? But anyways, here's a free business advice. Anybody could start this company. You do need a little bit of money, I guess, but what you do right now in this day and age, everybody believes they are struggling and they're living paycheck to paycheck, and that's their programming, and that's the program that's being pushed on them. Everybody's being pushed to have line of credit. Everybody's being pushed to use your credit cards, pay the minimum, because that's how they want you to do it, because that's how they make money. That's how they have control over you, so on and so forth, right? And I love that one book I was reading called The Science of Getting Rich, because the guy in that book who wrote it 100 years ago was like, even the elites in the world or the government cannot take away your money if you earn it this way. Through he calls it the thinking stuff, which is the law of attraction, the energy, right? Where if you manifest your wealth, no one could take that from you. And that's what scares the elites, the government, whatever is your belief system on all that stuff. And if you're like, I don't believe any of that crap, I just believe, like, I work hard and I get what I get, and I spend all my money because everything's high, and that's that. That's your belief. That's cool. That's awesome. But here, and maybe you'd be able to use this business service when somebody creates it in your area if you don't want to do it yourself. But everybody's programmed that way to make payments, to get a car loan, get a house loan. Even when you're on Amazon and you buy like fucking a $10 item, it's like, hey, do you want to make a payment plan of 50 cents a day or 50 cents a month for the next whatever, or $1 a month for the next 10 months, stuff like that, right? So yes, it's in our face. It's all about there. Get what you want now, pay later is the world's mantra. So here you go. Everybody has credit card bills. Everybody has phone bills. Everybody has internet bills, so on and so forth. The cost of living life. So wouldn't it be cool if somebody, maybe if somebody already does this, but I know there's places that do this in the sense of like, hey, we take over all your credit card and from bills, make one payment a month, but then they shut all your credit cards down, and then it gives you bad credit, so on and so forth. So, which is crazy, because then you get bad credit. It's no different than going bankrupt. And then only once you've reached the payment plan of 3 to 5 years, then you can start building your credit again. But if you don't want to do that, this is a business idea. You create a company where people will forward you their bills, either get them mailed to you or emailed to you, and they have their name and their account number. You take all their bills, put it in the system. You figure out a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly plan with them. Say, what can you afford to pay me? Can you afford to pay me this every week? Like $100 a week? And that will cover all your bills for the week, for your phone, your internet, or whatever. Or is it $200? Or do you want to pay bi-weekly, or do you want to pay monthly? And have all their bills in one place. Okay. Most people will choose, weekly, or they'll pay, twice a week or something like that, right? Like, hey, on Tuesdays you pay $50, and on Thursdays you pay $50, or you pay $100 or $100, whatever the payment plan you want to make with them, which includes your percentage, your 20% interest, 25% interest. But all their bills will always be paid on time, so they'll never get screwed, right? And if for their credit card bills, if they paid in full, that's through the payment plan, great. Or if they want to make sure they pay above the minimum, whatever they want to do, you make the plan with them. You say, this is how it's going to work. This is how we work. We add 20%, 25% on top. This is your payment plan, just like getting a car or a house or whatever. And you pay their bills, and they pay you, and so on and so forth. And you can make money doing that. And I'm not sure. I haven't researched it, but I just remember having a conversation with somebody. And I was like, hey, this is what I would do, because I guarantee you majority of people in your town, city would be like, that's an awesome service. And if it helps them, right, to keep track of everything, because nowadays you got so many different bills coming in. You got cell phone bills, internet bills, you got credit card bills, you got phone bills, you got all sorts of bills. So if you have somebody doing your, finance management, if you want to call it, where you take care of their bills, they're paid on time all the time, every time. That's your guarantee that they won't get dinged on their credit. They won't get late fees. And in turn, you charge this, whatever the percentage you want to charge, or whatever your fee amount is per payment you process. If it's like $10 a payment process, or $5, whatever you want, whatever you deem feasible, that's up to you. I'm not going to give you everything. But, right? And people would be like, well, Mike, tell me. I'm sure I'll get emails and phone calls saying, just tell me, what should I do? Tell me exactly how to do this. Set it up for me, and help me. I could do all that. I could do everything for you. But then you won't be motivated to do anything after that. You'd be like, okay, yeah, this is feels like a regular job to me. So why do you think people are more comfortable being an employee of a company than an owner or contractor? Most people rather be the employee. Why? Because the employee gets paid no matter what. You do your job, you show up, you get paid. If you show up to work, and let's say you're working in a car dealership, and you're trying to sell cars, but the really crappy economy, no one's buying cars right now, you still get paid. The company will pay you. You might say, well, they might lay us off or whatever, right? But you work at a grocery store, and you scan them, $10,000 worth of groceries for them that day, and you got paid your $200 that day or $100, whatever it is, and where you live. You made them a lot of money and whatever, and there could be a day where you only made them $1,000 that day or $500 during your shift because it's a slow day or whatever. But you still get paid no matter what. That's why people rather be employees. The security, I get paid. I get a paycheck. I get, employment insurance. I'm gonna have benefits so I can go, get my teeth done or go to the hospital and do all this stuff. So that's why people would rather be employees over the owner, because, hey, I own my own companies. People are like, oh, you own your companies, right? And you can see how much money comes in, but you can see how much money goes out because I got to pay all my employees, all the contractors, all the suppliers, right? I got to pay the fuel, pay the hydro, pay the rents, pay all that stuff before I pay myself. As a business owner, you pay all your obligations first before you pay yourself. And sometimes you just don't get paid, especially when you first start. But it depends on your belief system. I always believe whatever I do turns to gold, and I always make profit, and I break barriers because that's the type of person I am. Where people are like, oh, you only make profit after your first 5 years. Don't expect to make profit. Bullshit. I choose to make profit right away. So when I felt the universe guiding me and telling me to start my company that I started in 2019, or the new trade name I started in 2019 and the new product we were offering, which is like, package forwarding to all over the hard to reach places in Canada. Because, I just got information that, like we say, like there's some companies that charge, like if you buy diapers or whatever on a certain company, starts with a wall, ends with a mart. To ship up to those areas, it's $250 minimum. But yet they can ship it to me for free. We could ship it to them for like $50-$60. So it sounds like a lot, but for them it's not. But there's other companies out there that used to offer like, oh, we'll ship, like if you buy like a mattress or a desk and all that, we would ship it for a few $100. Well, now their minimum shipping to those areas are $1,000. So now they can ship it to me for free, and we could ship it through the network, that we have, discounts that we have, and it'll cost them a fraction. That's what we do, right? And I started that company, and everybody's like, oh, don't expect to make money. You're going to put all your money into it and you're not going to get anything out, blah, blah, blah. I just trusted the universe, trusted my higher self because I felt guided to do it. And lo and behold, 2020 happened, and we were one of the only people being able to deliver food, water, and all the necessities for like 3 years to these areas that were locked down without a problem. Is it luck? If I was still in religion, I'd be like, well, God blessed me or whatever. But I know I shut up. I listen to the universe and my higher self. And this is the energy I put out there because I've been putting out for years. I was trying to find something that can help people. I was doing commercial stuff up there already for years. But I wanted to find something that would help individuals because they were getting screwed in the sense where Amazon Prime doesn't deliver for free or Walmart doesn't deliver for free or whatever, which I understand. It's not their fault. Right? They're not bad companies, but I work with them all now, and we make sure things get shipped up there. And that's the niche that I want to help people and fill. So I know this has been a long episode. We're going to continue on to episode 2. I'm going to actually take a lunch break and film another episode, and this will be coming on like a week later. But just know, recap real quick. Everything comes down to you and your programming, and for you to recognize that. So if you did the exercise where you wrote out everything on that paper and you wrote down what you want to become, you want to be wealthy, you want to be, find true love or whatever. Now start unprogramming yourself. And if you feel like you need more information, there's that book by Dr. Joe Dispenza called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. But if you wish to have even more, or if you want to be one lucky people we're going to have picking maybe like 5 or 10 people. We'll see how it goes. You could email me at lifechangersmike@gmail.com. Lifechangersmike, all one word, at gmail.com. And say, I'm interested in having free life coach because we want to prove the concept. And I already have a lot of people I've done it over the years with as me, not Life Changers, but we want to do it under the brand of Life Changers. And then we would work with you and we'll do life coaching and all that. And then we'll get your testimonial, and that will be able to help us push our brand in helping people and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. I could help you. We'll work one-on-one on either finding out who you want to be, who you are, or finance, or if you have a business and you need help with your business, with an existing business, I'm more than happy, because me being outside the box, I can totally help you with that, no problem. Or if you have ideas on trying to find something that works for you, that makes you, because if you're happy and love what you do, you will be successful and rich. I love everybody. Please reach out to us. I love all the comments. I love all of the emails. And even if you're taking the time to write me a nasty email, that's your prerogative. But thank you for the listen. I'm just sharing my experiences and want to help people that want to be helped. And I love you guys. I love everybody. Just be happy. Be loved. Know that you are important. And you are in control of your destiny, of your reality, of your world. And let me help you explore that as I explored in myself. Thank you very much for listening. Once again, this is Mike with Life Changers. I appreciate everyone, and I love you. Until next week. Talk later.